Okay, so here is turn 4 of our 1 tank coil run from this past Monday. And again, we had never tried this as an FC before, and for me personally, this was the first time ever seeing it, period. I'd never watched a video, and I think most of the people in the group had not watched anything. We know it's been done, and we had just tried, okay, well, or decided to give this a try, make it a little bit more fresh and hopefully a little bit more challenging. And here is turn 4, and again, the reason I'm doing this is me and Yor were the two guys streaming, and they requested that we did not transmit or TeamSpeak chat to the stream, and I didn't have a way to just mute TeamSpeak and keep the game volume going. I had to mute all sound going through the stream, and so it was just dead quiet with the exception of me talking. Rather than post the videos like that, I thought it would be better just to overlay some music and just give an idea of what we were doing. We were discussing, I don't really know how long it was, maybe like 10 minutes or so, of how we were going to approach tanking here. And I think the bigger discussion was, once we had beaten this, how we could have actually done it better. But let me just go ahead and start the video here. I messed up here on the party list. I didn't move the Layla up. I just have tanks, and then healers, and then melee DPS, and then ranged. That's how I order my party list. There's no particular reason why I do that, I just do. So, first wave, really nothing is different. I just limit myself to using Cure 1s. I think the big thing is not, and this is something I try to do every week, is when every wave is spawning, I want to make sure that I don't have regen ticking on anyone. Like if you have regen ticking on, a couple tanks and maybe like a DPS, and then a wave spawns, it's just going to be that much harder for a tank to get snap aggro. And since we only have one tank here, I was trying to make a conscious effort to make sure that I'm not doing that. This was a learning experience because I wasn't sure how much raid damage again was going to go out. But pretty much knew, like, from a healing standpoint, like we would be good. Like all of our main healing core are pretty they're excellent players, a lot of fun to play with. We position the raid again behind the dreadnought, so those bugs get eaten up by the dreadnought. Pretty much standard at this point. You saw a lot of kind of raid damage it was kind of scattered throughout the group there on the first set of soldiers and knights. So this was interesting because our tank ate quite a bit of pox, what I remember here. So the spinner rooks will cast a spell called pox, and it will reduce health, and you'll see his health is gradually decreasing. He's at 2.8 health, and he was well over 6k, without that debuff. So I was watching that. I was a little stressed because I knew the dreadnought was coming, and I wasn't quite what that was going to look like with that health pool. So you see that it drops, but he only has 5 seconds left on the Pox there, and figured that we were going to be okay from that point. He had hollowed up there, so at this point I'm switching to the raid. Them up. You can see the tank is tanking both the Dreadnought and the Knight. I think the biggest thing we were concerned about between these phases was healer aggro with the assigned tanks, quote unquote, establishing threat, you know, as each wave spawned. Just to make it easier in the tank, we stood next to the Dreadnought. And it makes a really big difference just even switching out one tank for a DPS. After doing this week after week, you kind of get a feel for how fast you're going to kill it. And this felt like we actually had skipped a wave in terms of the speed. See that Caraway died there? I had a Cure 2 going off and it looked like it was about 80% of the cast through, and unfortunately it did not hit him in time. I had popped Presence of Mind and I had actually mentioned this after, but had I not popped that, the chances are that heal would have hit him and he would have lived. But this really wasn't bad at all. I thought maybe, you know, we would take a couple of attempts and kind of refine it a bit, but we ended up just getting through it without any major issues. There was a big discussion after the kill, how we could, you know, tank the waves a little bit better, really with the DPS being used and whatnot.